What is good, Counter-Strike fans? Welcome to my 11th episode of my HLTV Fantasy. Today, we're going to talk about the group stage for PGL Bucharest. Really excited to talk about this event. Four of the top teams are not involved in this event: Spirit, Navi, Mouse, and Vitality. And these are all teams that haven't won anything this year. So really excited to see who's gonna end up winning this event. But yeah, make sure to like and subscribe for me getting out this video. Above 24 hours finally. For a long time I haven't gotten a video out in over 24 hours, but now we have enough time for you to think about your fantasy teams and let me know what you guys decide to pick on. But yeah, like we always do, let's look back at how we did in our previous event. And for Blast Lisbon, the playoff stage, this is the team we decided to go with. We decided to go with double Spirit with Chopper and Xantares, double Mouse with Torchy and Brolin, and then Flamesy as my one Vitality player. And we did quite well. We finished top 6%, just missing out on the top 5 and those extra 3 points from the precincts and standings. And yeah, this makes sense because Mouse got 3 games. One of those games against G2 was a kind of a blowout. They did really well against Internal Fire, and then they took Vitality to 5 maps. Meanwhile, Spirit did really good against Navi. Did okay against Vitality, took them to 3 maps. And Vitality not being able to farm any of those teams and then just having 2 matches. Some of the key players, some of the other players, not Siuhy and Robs, didn't perform up to their price. And you'll be able to see that in the event overview, where the best value for money were Siuhy and Dunk. Obviously, they're just far and away the best players. Sershin, Torchy as well up there. So if you decide to spend up on mouse players, you probably reap the benefits from it. Shiro and Spinks and Robs and that other grouping, and then Jim Hat. So if you probably had like a Siuhy, Torchy, Brolin, Apex, and then someone else, you probably did really well in this event. But enough about that. Let's talk about the first bit of news that came out. Siuhy joins Liquid on loan. Siuhy will replace JKS on the roster for this event all the way up till the end of the Austin Major. So this was something that we've been talking about for a really long time, and it's finally happening. Siuhy's finally off the market, and Liquid finally get their IGL. And even though this won't have an immediate effect in what Liquid put out, it should, improve morale, give them a little bit more structure in the short term, and kind of give them a honeymoon period, especially because Liquid also let go of their other coach and brought in a new person in. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Liquid and Siuhy mesh together, and any long-term effects of like Siuhy bringing in his system, how he wants to play Counter-Strike, and hopefully letting Twist, frag out a little bit more. So that was that news. Another news that came out is that Monesy is set to join Falcons. So if you read this article, Monesy will transfer to Falcons before the Austin Major. So Falcons have decided to buy out Monesy's contract, even though it's expiring very soon, in a record transfer deal. I guess Falcons don't care about spending money. They have unlimited money, but they just want to win now. And I think having Nico and Monesy reunite, it should lead to good things for them in the future. That would mean Dexter will go to the bench. But I don't think this transfer will take effect for this event, but it will happen in the next upcoming events. It could happen, it's mentioned right here, it could happen in Melbourne, Blast, or Dallas before the major. So Monesy's time in G2 is coming to an end. So could that lead to negative effects for G2? Could that also lead negative effects as well to Falcons as well? Because, they're that roster is gonna make a change soon. So this event is not really their priority, or could that have the opposite effect? A last dance for Monesy, hopefully getting one last trophy for G2, or for Falcons to finally do something without the pressure of, performing well. You never know. Something else that I wanted to mention as well, Xantares just had surgery as well, so his performance could go downhill for a little bit after, getting surgery so close to this PGL Bucharest event. And I think Eternal Fire dropped out of Melbourne, so this is probably their last event for a little while. So it'll be interesting how Eternal Fire perform. Now we can talk about the teams. And in the seeds, in the seed order, the upper echelon seeds, so the first 1 through 8 in order, is G2, Mongols, FaZe Clan, Eternal Fire, Falcons, Liquid, Furia, and Virtus Pro. And then the bottom seeds, in order from 8 through 16, is Gamer Legion, 3D Max, Astralis, Pain Gaming, Complexity, Legacy, Apogee, Sports, and then Rare Atom. So really quickly, just breaking down into tiers. In the tier that they should make it and are some of the favorites to win this event, I think Mongols and Turfire are in that tier. They've been playing the best Counter-Strike out of all these teams. And this is a great chance for them to win their first title of the year. So I think these are the two favorites to go 3-0 and are the favorites to win out the whole event. In the next tier, I would put in should make it out this stage and could have a potential chance of winning the whole thing. There I would put G2, FaZe Clan, Falcons, and Liquid. They have enough firepower. They are tier 1 teams for a reason, and they should, do the business in this group stage and then hopefully have a chance in the playoffs. So that's 6 teams already that should be making it to the next stage. So at least two spots for the rest of these 10 teams. In the next group of teams, I would put have a chance to make it to the next stage or upset some teams. And in that group, I would put Furia, Virtus Pro, Gamer Legion, 3D Max, and Astralis. With my 3 favorites in order would be Virtus Pro, 3D Max, and Gamer Legion. You know what Furia and Astralis can bring. I mean, they have great players, Caserato, Device. They could always do the thing and to make it to the next stage, but I think they're still missing something. Meanwhile, I think Virtus Pro, Gamer Legion, 3D Max have looked a lot better recently. While they might not have the firepower or they might not have the calling, they are teams that have looked good and could upset something. But yeah, I think these 5 teams will see the final 2 teams to make it to the next stage. Then I'll put an extra tier between no chance. No chance will be Legacy, Apogee, and Rare Atom. They have no chance of making it to the next stage, no chance of winning. Pain Gaming and Complexity would be in that they have a chance of making it to the next stage, no chance of winning. It is quite unlikely though that Pain and Complexity make it. Pain are bringing in an academy player in replacement of Kawis for this event, or they might bring in DGT, but it's not confirmed yet. We'll know more hopefully before the event starts, but it's probably going to be that academy player who has put up a 1.01 rating for the academy team, so not good at all. And we saw what happened when a Brazilian team brings in academy player like Furia from last year, where they brought in that, I forget that guy's name, and he had like the worst rating in the whole tier 1. So Pain, don't expect too much from them in this event. Complexity, they haven't looked good at all this whole year, but they have been winning a lot recently. So there's that chance that Complexity could do it, but they're gonna have to go above Furia, Virtus Pro, Gamer Legion, 3D Max, and Astralis. And I Probably not. It's probably not gonna be able to beat any of them for the last 2 spots. So I'm just informing you of how they've done recently. In their matches. I mean, they've been some pretty okay tier 2 teams, but this is a different level. If you look at the first round matchups, Mongols versus 3D Max, this could be an upset and 3D Max could win this. I still expect Mongols to beat 3D Max, but you never know. 3D Max are actually a solid team, so there's always that upset chance. Virtus Pro versus Rare Atom. Virtus Pro should win this easily. This is probably the most lopsided matchup of the first round, so this could lead to Virtus Pro to farm some points and some rating here. Falcons versus Complexity. This could be another upset. Falcons, they know that it's going to be a change incoming. They might not do well. They might just take this event off and then just kind of don't worry about it. And then Complexity have been playing better recently. So it's an upset for sure. It could happen. G2 versus Gamer Legion. I think this is my favorite upset. I think Gamer Legion can beat G2. G2 who Monesy is going to leave. And Gamer Legion who always prepares really well against the top of positions. I mean, they have a great coach and they really do their homework to, beat someone like G2 who's very prone to losing these upset games. Eternal Fire versus Pain. Eternal Fire should win this easily, even with Xantares just off surgery. Liquid versus Legacy. Liquid should win that easily. The honeymoon period with Siuhy could help them. FaZe versus Astralis. Another upset that could occur. FaZe haven't been playing good. Neither has Astralis, but all it takes is 1 or 2 players from either side to pop off, and it could lead to the team winning. So Astralis has the players that can win them a match. I guess FaZe, Device, Javi, even Stomp, even though he's not been as good recently. You never know. And then Furia versus Poji. Furia should win this. So we can finally talk about the actual players. And we can look at the most picked players. Major is the most picked player. About almost 50% of the teams he's on. After that, we have the Mongols double up in Messinho and Techno. Kerrigan and Rain up there as well. 910 as the only gold player. Woxic would probably doubling up with Major. And then this is something interesting. I checked this website previously, earlier this day. And Siuhy was not up here. It was actually electronic. But now that the news have come out that Siuhy has joined Liquid, I think a lot of people are excited about that. And people are bringing in Liquid and Siuhy players. So it'll be interesting. So let's talk about the players individually. Eternal Fire. Just off right off the bat, Xantares at 223 is a no-go. We don't know how the surgery will affect him. He hasn't been playing good. He's been complaining about pain. So I just don't see how he has his best tournament or a tournament that is going to match his price at this time. So I would not go with Xantares. I will also not go with Wicadia, even though he's been their best player recently. At 217 is a little bit much, especially with how the pricing is for some of the top teams. This is where you go with Woxic at 212. He's my favorite option out of Eternal Fire. And then you probably double him up with a Major, who's very solid player. He can sometimes frag out, and maybe he might be needed to, and he has a good roles as well, because Xantares might not be at his best. If you want to spend a little bit less money, you can go with Jota. G2, Monesy at 235. I probably say it's a no-go. I know he's a professional. He's probably going to play to his best. But that's got to be in the back of his mind that he's probably not too invested in G2 anymore. And at 235, I wouldn't go there. Heavy God as well at 215 is a little bit much. And honestly, this whole team's I'm not really sure about. Snacks we know that we don't pick at all. I'd probably just pick one player and it'd probably be just Hunter. If you wanted to double up Mao just because he's the next cheapest player that's not Snacks. But G2, I think they're in trouble. Mongols. Mongo's pricing is a little bit weird. I wouldn't pay up for Techno or Messinho at those prices. They've been too consistently mid and haven't really shown that pop-off performance that I know they have, but at those prices, for me, it's a no-go. My favorite would be Blitz at 209. Good consistency, has some pop-up potential. If you wanted to double up or spend up a little bit more, I would go Sensu over 910, just because Sensu loves these group stages. He farms in these, so it should be good for him. FaZe performing poorly. Could this be the event that they finally win something, finally get their confidence back? Could be. Frozen at 216, I wouldn't pay up that much for him. I'd rather go with Elite or even Brokey. Those two have the same upside that Frozen has and are cheaper. Carrying 179 is not bad, but in a group stage event, I'd rather spend up a little bit more for someone that has a little bit more upside in their fragging. Rain at 188 is not bad either. Overall FaZe is okay. Falcons, Nico 225, he could farm this event, but now that the news come out with that Monesy should soon join this team, could this lead to a lower performance this event? Maybe. 225 is a little bit much though. I would just pick from these sort of players. Take your choice. I'll probably pick one of Tessus and Dexter and then pair him up with like Kixan, or pick both of these. Magic I don't like. I honestly don't like. He's too consistently mid for my liking. Liquid was one of my favorites when they had JKS. I mean, JKS 182 was a great price, especially for the potential that he has. But now that Siuhy's come in, now I'm liking some of the other players a lot more. Naf of 195, we've seen his ratings come down with JKS. Hopefully, now that JKS is gone, he can finally get back to the Naf that we know of, who was one of the best anchors last year. Nerds at 217, been their best player for Liquid ever since he's come in. But at 217, it's a little bit much, so I probably wouldn't go with him. I'd probably put my money on Twist or even Ultimate as well. You can maybe double up on these two as well. Twist has been consistent for them, and now that he has IGL duties lifted from him, he should just focus on just clicking heads. And then Ultimate has been their best player from the last event, other than Nerds. So a lot of interesting options for Liquid. I'd probably just skip on Siuhy and Nerds. Virtus Pro as well. Very interesting options. I like all 5 players. Electronic 184. You get that rare item game. He can farm that, and then after that, he just needs to get to the next stage for him to be worth it. Flit and Famus has been Virtus Pro's best players so far this year. Flit is super consistent, and so Famus has the upside of being super aggressive, and he can go crazy, especially against a rare atom. IC at 205, I probably wouldn't go for him. I'd probably just spend up for Flamus in that case. But if you want to go differential, you know what IC did in Cloud9. He hasn't really shown that in Virtus Pro, but this could be the event that he does. And then Fame as well, 2-1 is not the worst either. It's just that rare out of them getting that I really like, and they do have a great chance. I think they should make it to the next stage. I think I like what I've seen from Virtus Pro, just 5 good players that could just, destroy teams, and that's all you need, especially for something like a group stage. Astralis, Device, you know what you're getting, 215, super consistent. Even when Astralis is not doing good, he's still putting up his ratings, but I wouldn't go there. Kaden, I wouldn't go there either, 176, he's been really poor. He's just not the same player that he was, especially without the op. So that leaves Stav, Javi, and Stair. If I were to go with one, go with Javi. He's been their second best player for a while now. If you want to double up, pick Stav, so you can combine Stav and Javi to make Stabby. Gamer Legion could be one of the underdog teams to make it. Res and PR will have to carry them basically. So pick one of these two or double up on them. Slen is looking like he might get kicked out of the team. He hasn't been performing to the level he should with the op. But 192 is super enticing. CTR and Tossin. I would pick Tossin just because better rolls for Game Religion, and he's not IGLing. 3D Max, another team that I really like, especially the pricing. Body has come in and been their best player. 204 is cheap for him. Maka consistently been one of their top players as well. Has the op. And yeah, if 3D Max do good, Maka will do good as well. Then Lucky and Exercise, I would skip on. Lucky, I would just rather pay up more for Maka, and then Exercise, I would rather pay down to Gravity. Who Gravity at 187, I think is a steal. He's solid enough, and if 3D Max make it, he could do good. Furia, you know what Casarada does, but 218, just don't go there. If I were to pick one Furia player, it'd be Yuri. If I were to double up with Furia, it'd probably be Fallen and Yuri. Complexity, I'm just going to talk about them because this player right here, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's been doing really well and their current run of form that Complexity's been on. And at 177, it's not the worst option for you to pick like him as a cheapie and then double up on some of the more expensive players from the better teams and hope that Complexity just don't crash out 0-3. But it's too risky. I don't see Complexity even having a chance to make it the next stage. So just an option that bring up forward. Rare Item, don't go with any of them. Legacy, don't go with any of them. And Apogee is a no-go either. Pain is currently not in the game, but if they were and they were to bring the Academy player, I say they're a no-go in general. If they were to bring someone else, it really depends on the pricing, but honestly, I wouldn't be too interested in them. I'm just gonna build my team that I'm currently gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Eternal Fire. I think they're one of the safer options to go 3-0, and they're one of the favorites to win the whole thing. So I'm gonna go with Major and Woxic, a great double up right there. I'm gonna play it safe there. Then I'm gonna play a little bit risky and go with some upside. I'm gonna go with Maka from 3D Max. I think 3D Max could make it to the next stage, especially if one of the other favorites kind of struggle. I think my prime candidates would be like G2, Falcons, Astralis, Furia. Some of these teams are more prone, even FaZe as well, are more prone to like maybe struggle. And 3D Max could get in there, and if they get in there and to make stage, Maka will be worth it at 201. So now that I have my little like upside pick, I gotta bring it back a little bit, and I'm gonna go with Liquid with Twist and Nav. I think Liquid are gonna be in the honeymoon period. They should make it to the next stage easily as well, 3-1 probably. And Twist and Nav should be able to farm. So this could be my team. These are gonna be my roles, and these are gonna be my current boosters for the first game. Some alternative options that I would think I was going with is maybe taking out Major and taking out Maka and going with Fame and Electronic. I just really like that first matchup they have for Rare Atom. However, I think it's too much of a risk. I think Fame does not match the upside that Maka has. I think Maka's more consistent in that regard. And I do like Electronic more than Major. I think just going Major and hoping that he has an uptick in fragging potential because of Xantares' current surgery, like being after surgery, like effects. And Eternal Fire should be more likely to go 3-0. Should hopefully give him a higher amount of points than Electronic, farming against Burst Pro. But I've been really close to picking Electronic over Major, and then just going Maka. I've been really close to this team, but role wise, is not as good as this current team. I think this is gonna be my team. I'm like 90% locked in, but I will leave a link down below where you can view my team, and I will also update you as well in the comments down below if I do make any changes, or if the paying players are interesting, or if something else, another news will come out, like for example Monesy joining Falcons for this event, which would be pretty crazy to see. Yeah, but other than that, just make sure to like and subscribe. Leave any comments with your teams, any suggestions for the next event, and yeah, good luck, have fun, and see you for the next time.